Every night, you commit an act of profound biological recklessness. You lay down, close your eyes, and surrender your consciousness. For the next 8 hours, you are effectively paralyzed, blind to the world, and utterly defenseless against any predator or peril that might come your way. You cannot hunt, you cannot gather, you cannot find a mate, and you cannot protect your offspring. From an evolutionary standpoint, sleep is an absolute catastrophe. If sleep doesn't serve an absolutely vital function, then it is the biggest mistake the process of evolution ever made. Yet, every animal species ever studied, from the massive blue whale to the microscopic nematode, sleeps. If life found a way to bypass this state of vulnerability, that creature would dominate the planet. But it hasn't. Why? We often think of sleep as a period of inactivity, a biological power down to save energy. But that's a lie. Your brain is often more active during certain stages of sleep than when you're awake and solving a math problem. If you look at the metabolic cost, sleep only saves you about 110 calories a night, the equivalent of a small piece of toast. You don't risk death by predation just to save the energy of a slice of bread. No, we sleep because the price of staying awake is a slow, cognitive suicide. Think of your brain not as a computer, but as a city. During the day, the city is bustling. Transactions are made, traffic flows through the streets, and the economy hums with the electricity of experience. But every transaction leaves behind a footprint. Every car leaves a puff of exhaust. Every citizen leaves a bag of trash on the curb. In the world of your neurons, this trash is a metabolic byproduct called adenosine. From the moment you wake up, a chemical hourglass is turned over. Adenosine begins to build up in the spaces between your brain cells. It is the molecular expression of sleep pressure. The longer you stay awake, the more the trash piles up, clogging the metaphorical streets of your mind. By the time evening rolls around, the city is congested, the air is thick with smog, and the gears of thought begin to grind. If you were to stay awake indefinitely, the trash would eventually bury the city. This isn't just a metaphor. In the 1980s, researchers conducted experiments on rats to see what happens when sleep is completely denied. The results were harrowing. Within 2 to 3 weeks, the rats died. They didn't die of organ failure in the traditional sense. They died because their entire biological system simply collapsed. Their immune systems shattered, their body temperatures plummeted, and they developed sores that wouldn't heal. They died of the sheer exhaustion of existing. We used to think sleep was for the body, but we've come to realize it is primarily for the mind. But what is it actually doing? To understand the genius of sleep, we have to look at the plumbing. For decades, biologists were puzzled by a glaring omission in human anatomy. Every other organ in your body has a drainage system, the lymphatic system, which carries away waste. But the brain, the most complex metabolic system you own, appeared to have no such drainage. It was as if the most complex laboratory in the universe had no janitor. Then, in 2012, researchers discovered the glymphatic system. It is a hidden hydraulic network that only switches on when you fall into deep sleep. When you enter that heavy, dreamless state, your brain cells actually shrink. They pull back, increasing the space between them by up to 60%. In that moment, the floodgates open. Cerebrospinal fluid rushes through the brain like a high-pressure power washer, flushing out the metabolic toxic waste that accumulated during the day, specifically a protein called amyloid beta. If that name sounds familiar, it's because amyloid beta is the primary component of the plaques found in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. Every night you skip sleep, you're essentially leaving a layer of toxic film on your neurons. We don't sleep to rest. We sleep to clean the crime scene of being conscious. But the cleaning of the slate is only half the story. There is a deeper, more poetic function occurring in the theater of the mind. While the glymphatic system cleans the streets, another system is busy rewriting the history books of your life. Consider the memory dilemma.
Your brain has a limited capacity for high-definition, short-term storage, the hippocampus. Think of it as a USB stick with very little space. During the day, you fill this stick with everything you see, hear, and learn. By the end of the day, the stick is full. If you don't move those files somewhere else, you won't be able to learn anything new tomorrow. This is the miracle of the sleep spindle. During light NREM sleep, the brain begins a massive data transfer. It moves those fragile, short-term memories from the hippocampus to the long-term hard drive of the cortex. It's a process of save and delete. But the brain doesn't just copy the files, it edits them. It looks for patterns. It connects the new thing you learned today with something you learned 10 years ago. It asks, how does this piece of information fit into the grand puzzle of who I am? This is why you can struggle with a complex problem all day, go to sleep frustrated, and wake up with the answer clearly formed in your mind. You didn't solve it while you were awake. Your brain solved it while you were away. It was cross-referencing the universe in the dark. But then, the nature of the journey shifts. We move from the deep, silent cleaning of the basement into the vibrant, chaotic, and terrifying world of REM sleep, the stage of dreams. If NREM sleep is about remembering, then REM sleep, the state of dreaming, is about something much more mysterious. It is about the resolution of the soul.
When you enter REM sleep, your brain undergoes a chemical transformation so radical, it's almost like changing the operating system of a computer. For the only time in your 24-hour cycle, the brain completely shuts off the release of norepinephrine, a chemical associated with stress and anxiety. Simultaneously, the emotional and visual centers of your brain flare into life, becoming up to 30% more active than they are when you were awake. This is not an accident. This is a form of overnight therapy. Imagine you've had a traumatic day, a car accident, a bitter argument, a moment of profound shame. The memory of that event is composed of two things: the facts of what happened and the painful emotional charge attached to it. If we carried every emotional sting with us at full volume forever, the weight of our past would eventually crush our ability to function. REM sleep is the master editor that strips the emotion away from the memory. It allows us to process the data of our lives in a safe, neurochemically cool environment. We relive the events in our dreams, but without the adrenaline. By the time you wake up, the sharp edges of the trauma have been sanded down. You remember the argument, but the visceral gut punch is gone. We don't just sleep to remember, we sleep to forget how much it hurt. But dreams serve an even stranger purpose. They are the ultimate creative laboratory. During the day, your logical brain, the prefrontal cortex, is the strict hall monitor. It insists on linear thinking, cause and effect, and common sense. But in REM sleep, the hall monitor goes home. In this state, the brain begins to make radical, distant associations that the waking mind would never dare to attempt. It takes a piece of information from a documentary you watched 3 years ago and fuses it with the specific way your morning coffee smelled today. It creates a surrealist collage of existence. This is why, throughout history, some of our greatest leaps in science and art didn't come from a desk, but from a pillow. Dmitri Mendeleev claimed the structure of the periodic table appeared to him in a dream. Paul McCartney woke up with the melody to Yesterday fully formed in his head. Mary Shelley dreamt the monster of Frankenstein into existence. In the dream state, the brain is not bound by the laws of physics or the conventions of logic. It is testing the what-ifs of the universe. It is a biological simulation engine, running millions of scenarios to see which ones might help us survive the unpredictable reality of tomorrow. When you look at the totality of sleep, the deep cleaning of the glymphatic system, the data transfer of the spindles, and the emotional recalibration of the dream, you realize that we have been looking at sleep backward. We often think of sleep as a tax we have to pay on the privilege of being awake. We treat it as an inconvenience, a gap in our productivity, a little death that interrupts the real business of living. But the science suggests the opposite. Sleep is not the intermission, it is the main event. Think about the sheer scale of it. If you live to be 80 years old, you will have spent nearly 30 years in this profound vulnerability. 30 years of darkness and silence. Evolution is a ruthless accountant. It does not tolerate waste on that scale. If we could have evolved to stay awake, we would have. The fact that we haven't suggests that consciousness itself is an incredibly fragile and expensive state to maintain.
Perhaps consciousness is like a high-performance engine that runs so hot it begins to melt its own components. Sleep is the cooling cycle. Being awake is a state of constant, controlled brain damage, and sleep is the only period of true repair. There's a profound humility in this realization. No matter how powerful we become, no matter how much technology we build to bypass the limits of our biology, we are still tethered to this ancient, rhythmic requirement. We are still the same creatures that huddled in the back of caves, surrendering to the dark because we had no choice. Every night you step off the edge of the world. You leave behind your ego, your name, your worries, and your identity. You dissolve into a sea of biological maintenance and surreal imagery. And every morning, you are reassembled. You wake up as a slightly different person than the one who went to bed. Your memories more organized, your toxins cleared, your emotional wounds cauterized. We are not just us during the day. We are the sum of the work done in the shadows. We are the byproduct of the night. So the next time you find yourself resisting the urge to sleep, chasing one more hour of productivity or one more episode of a show, remember what is actually happening. You aren't just resting, you are allowing the most complex machine in the known universe to perform its most essential miracle. You are giving your mind the chance to save itself from the weight of being alive. We sleep because we must. We sleep because the light is too heavy to carry forever. And in that quiet, paralyzed darkness, we find the only thing that makes the light worth returning to, the clarity to see the world anew. Would you like me to develop a similar deep dive script on the nature of consciousness, or perhaps the biological mystery of why we age?